Honestly, I should be used to this, but I'm still like, what? Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer, everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Okay, you guys have known for a while now that I sent a request over to the Idaho State Police regarding the trip that Forensic Lab Director Matthew Gamet and Dustin Blaker, their trip down to Houston with the DNA in the vial. You know, the report that we read where we found out that Blaker picked it up from ISP on the 21st, but then flew out on the 22nd. And that even though there was a literal forensic scientist that had better credentials to handle DNA, along with the police officer, along with Dustin Blaker, Blaker is the one that held on to it the entire time. They apparently flew out of Boise, got down to Houston, got a rental car, went down to Othram, dropped it off, dropped the rental car back, and then flew back to Boise, all within one little trip. Now, the first time we heard about this was back in January of 2025 when there was a closed session, and the transcripts ended up coming out a little while after. We actually go back and reference these transcripts, at least here on this channel, more than I think any other document in this entire case. It was so filled with information that was so important. No wonder it was a closed session, right? This was the first time that we heard that this situation happened the way that it happened, because up until then, we knew that it was taken down to Othram. We knew that Othram was involved, but we were told they drove. We were told that they flew. We got weird information, back and forth stuff. Even in January, when in the transcripts Ann Taylor is talking to Matthew Gamet, he says it was him and a Boise police officer. Dustin Blaker is not a Boise police officer. He's with Moscow Police Department. He also never gave the name. Which, if you're on the stand, why can't you just like say the name of the person that you went with? Or do you just not remember? I've asked this guy for specifics on why this is all that I have, because apparently there's no email transcriptions, there's no communications, none of the things. I'm going to read you what I asked for when it came to this little trip. I'm going to read you the responses, a little bit of the back and forth that me and him had, so that we could get the terms together, because I did end up speaking to him directly via email. I'm going to show you the response, which is literally just receipts, bro. It's just the receipts for the airplane tickets and the rental car and like his per diem. That's it. No information whatsoever about anything important at all. So I asked, did y'all not have like conversations about this? Like, how did it all get planned if there's no communications anywhere? And he didn't respond. It's been a few days and he has not responded, which again shouldn't shock me. So let's just go ahead and get started with what they're not giving us. As you can see here, I requested this information on 9/22 of 25, and I received the response back with these nothingness receipts. It's going to be annoying. I promise you now, it's going to be annoying. On November 13th at around 1:30 p.m. This is what I requested. I am requesting any reports, notations, correspondence via emails, or IM or other receipts and or anything related to ISP Forensic Lab System Director Matthew Gamet accompanying Sergeant Dustin Blaker with Moscow Police Department via airplane from Boise down to Houston, Texas on or around 11/22/22 to bring the DNA sample from the knife sheath found at the crime scene to Othram Labs in the Woodlands. He testified to this in a closed hearing on 1/23/25. The transcript was made public via the Idaho Public Interest website on or around 2/21/25. I have attached it. Please see page 96. Thank you. And I did. I attached the link. I put the page number, as you can see, so that it's obvious it's court testimony. We know that this happened. They can't take it back. The response says, ISP searched for email or other written communications between Matthew Gamet and Dustin Blaker, or MPD, like in general, with Moscow Police Department, regarding transport of the DNA sample to Othram Labs between a time frame of 11/12/22 to 12/31/22. Search terms included travel and or transport and or Othram and or airplane and or flight and or Sheath and or Texas. There were no responsive applicable records. Which to me could maybe only mean that they did not contact each other directly via anything that was work. They could have just been given each other's phone numbers and contacted each other via their personal cell phones, which I don't think that we would be privy to in a FOIA. That's just my opinion on that. I don't really know that for sure, but that's what it sounds like. But that's still not really how this should work if that's the case, because they would have all been CC'd on these things. So even if they weren't directly communicating with each other regarding this, they would still have been CC'd on the emails where people were communicating with each other, which should fall under this category. And they're claiming that they don't have anything like that in their system. I don't find that to be true. There's just like freaking no way. Did they just like telepathically get this all figured out and scheduled? I mean, seriously. It goes on to say, further, ISP search for travel receipts or travel records for the trip, and responsive records are being provided. And again, that's going to be it. It's just receipts. So let me go ahead and just show them to you. This shows that it was actually originally printed out on 12/13 of 22, which is interesting because that's like almost a month after the fact. I wonder what they printed it out for way back then. Anyway, as you can see here, this is just the out-of-state travel request. Matthew Gamet, lab director for forensic services, has the date of 11/22/22 for Houston. When it says purpose, benefit to department, you would really expect like more information here. Oh my goodness, Calypso. Now the receipts are just sort of discombobulated, the way that we've heard that most of the information and evidence in this case is disorganized and discombobulated. So I've taken some time to go through and read them. I'm not really seeing, again, anything that's given me any specifics. And I don't understand why it shows that Gamet was in Salt Lake City for 3 nights or 3 days. There's no specifics on that. We're only going to have what the cash voucher receipt shows for the dates. And then this receipt that shows that his car was parked at the airport for 3 days. Now, remember, they flew into Houston and flew out of Houston same day on the 22nd of November. They only had the rental car for a few hours before they left. So I don't know when it comes to Blaker if he flew to Salt Lake City with Gamet or if that was something else. But again, it's on the cash voucher log for ISP. So one can only assume that it wasn't a personal trip or it wouldn't even be on there. We'll get to that in just a second. But this is the receipt right here for the airport showing that Matthew Gamet dropped his car off at the parking area at 4:32 in the morning on Tuesday, 11/22. And that he picked it up around like 8 p.m. on Friday, 11/25. So let's keep that part in mind. This is the Enterprise rental receipt for the times they actually had the vehicle. They did originally request it from like noon to 7, but I guess their airplane came in or it took them a little longer to get into the area than they thought, and they also finished a lot faster. So they picked it up at 2:28 on the 22nd, and then they dropped it off at 5:13. Not even a full 3 hours. Now, here's the cash voucher that I was just mentioning. Let me make this part bigger. As you can see, this is like the calendar dates, okay? Yes for overnights, okay? Boise to Houston to Salt Lake City, Utah. Why did you go to Salt Lake City for days after you left Houston? Did Dustin Blaker go with you? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why the hell he was in Salt Lake City for 3 nights. And again, it's on the per diem page. It's on the cash voucher log for ISP. It can't be a personal trip. It can't be. That wouldn't make any freaking sense. Now, here is the actual flight receipt. 11/21/22, 10:18 a.m. Must have been whenever they got the receipt sent over. You have the flights right here, seat selections. Now, right here, 11/22, depart Boise, arrive in Salt Lake at 7:18. Leave Salt Lake at 9:56 and get to Houston at 1:54. Leave Houston at 7:55, get to Salt Lake at 10:15, get to Salt Lake City at 11:06 p.m. and get back to Boise at 12:19 in the morning on the 23rd. I don't understand why, if this is the case, it shows that he was in Salt Lake City for 3 days. I'm sorry? Because this only shows 11/22 for the dates here. And says getting back 19 minutes after midnight on the 23rd. So why were you in Salt Lake City for 3 days? And why did you leave your car at the airport for 3 days if you got back 19 minutes after midnight on the 23rd and you could have simply driven your car out on the 23rd? Not even a whole 24 hours. Why does this show me differently than this? It shows 11 p.m. for Salt Lake City. See this portion right here? I think it matches right here. Yeah, look at this right here. 11 p.m. and ending Salt Lake City. Why on the 25th do we have Salt Lake City and Boise getting back into Boise at 8 p.m.? Where did you go? What did you do? And why does this show that you got back on the 23rd? That's really confusing. That's really confusing. Now, see, this shows the exact same thing. Boise to Salt Lake, but it's the same information. Boise to Salt Lake to Houston, Houston to Salt Lake to Boise. And it still shows the 22nd. It still shows the 22nd on all of it. There's nothing on here about information of him being in Salt Lake City for nights, for multiple nights. So why the hell does it say that on the cash voucher receipts? Why? Why don't these match up? Everything about this case is like this, guys. I'm not making this crap up. I'm showing you the receipts. I'm showing you the discrepancies. Why is every single thing in this case like this? This is so ridiculous. Again, I should be used to this. But every time it happens, I can just like feel whatever it's causing inside of me just getting a little bit bigger. This is ignorant. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this crap down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that that notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. Oh, and there will be a link for this exact document, all 14 pages down in the description box to a Google link, shared drive for the channel. So don't forget about that. See y'all.